Monster Integration by Inwan. Chapter 181. Sick. We have to tell him, said my father. My mother nodded with a sigh. I would have never gone for if it didn't concern this little one, she said as cares her stomach. Do you think he will help you contact them? Asked my father. He is our only option and it didn't matters he can contact them or not, as long as he is willing to help. It very minute thing for him to provide us that potion. If not for this little one's life on the L wouldn't have gone to him even if it had cost me my life, but for this little one I will do anything, even if I have to kneel to beg, she said. Pain could be heard in her voice. They stayed silent for a while. They looked at the front and little smile had appeared on their face. From of them is a big sealed food box that Ashlyn is trying to open with all her heart. Aside from using her fire, she is doing everything she can to open the box and looked quite comical doing that. You never changes, Ashlyn, you are still a glutton, said my mother. Yes, she is, for food, she will do everything, I said as I come behind with a smile as saw what Ashlyn was doing. My face is all smiling as I never heard there an earlier conversation. Choo choo choo. Ashlyn backed down and started chirping furiously at me to open the food box. Okay, I'll do that, I said and opened the box. Click and started to remove the small boxes from inside and started passing everyone. Just as I placed the box in front of Ashlyn, she quickly opens the box with extreme precision with the help of her claws and started to eat without waiting for anyone. My parents looked shocked seeing her do that. Ashlyn had no problem opening the seal on small boxes as these are the one we usually came from. This is the first time of her seeing this big food box. I am sure in 2 or 3 days, she will learn to open the big box as well. This good, said my father and mother in unison as they took their first bite. Not only they, the ecstasy could be seen on the Ashlyn's parents as they were busy eating like Ashlyn. This one is more delicious than the other ones you send, Mom complimented. I just smiled without answering. I've upgraded their food services both in quantity and quality, so obviously, this is going to taste much better. We didn't talk much and ate our food quietly. The only one who is making noise is Ashlyn as she is eating very speedily with her tiny mouth. One thing I don't understand with Ashlyn that she obviously loves food, she has to savor it while eating but she always eats so fast as if someone going steal her food. I many times told her to eat slow but she never listened to my words. Soon we finished eating one by one but Ashlyn as always the first one to finish. Let me, I said seeing my father picking empty lunch boxes off the table to throw them at the trash. I take the boxes from my father's hand and threw them at the trash can in the corner of the kitchen. When I went back I remembered something and took out a small transparent box. Inside the box, small specks could be seen. Ashlyn, eat it, I said as I picked Ashlyn in one hand who was lazily laid on her stomach side. Chew, she chirped saying no, if you don't eat it, you will have to eat packaged monster meat then, I said threateningly. Chew. She chirped sadly and opened her mouth to eat the speck. My parents looked curiously as I feed the red speck to Ashlyn. It is a small piece of the core of corporal level monster which had the best fire type ability I've ever seen. I am hoping Ashlyn's ability could be upgraded eating it. As I took a seat and about to ask my parents as a serious question when Ashlyn body started to release heat. This heat has a flavor of fiery lion's powers. I turned happy seeing this, thanking my luck that right after eating the core of fiery lion her ability started to upgrade but just as the heat came, a second later it is gone, leaving me and Ashlyn confused. I've never seen confused before. Whatever she does with certainty but this time she seems to have some confusion. What happened? Did your ability upgraded? I asked still hopeful about the upgrade of her ability. Chew. She shook her tiny little head and started to summon a small fireball in front of her. The fireball looked the same silver and there is no change in it, the flavor is the same so is heat emitting from it. I was a little disappointed seeing that but soon I controlled my mood thinking if upgrading power would be that easy, abilities of many monsters would have been more powerful. I take out 20-something cores of specialist grade fiery lion and small cutting devious which I had brought yesterday for my parents. These are some cores of specialist grade monsters and this device help you cut them equally. Feed them to Lola and Georgie, there may be a chance to upgrade their abilities. I said. My parents were the one who had told me that feeding monster core to monster helped them upgrade their abilities. Although the chance of it very low, but it still happens, and this method is scientifically proven. No, we can't take it, these monster cores worth hundreds of thousands of credits, it is better to sell them, that money will be very helpful to your training, said my father, rejecting it. I have hundreds of monster core with me, giving these cores to you wouldn't affect me much, please take it, I said. Seeing my little pleading tone, my father accepted the cores with a sigh. We talked for a few minutes when I decided to ask them a question that had been bugging ever since I've eavesdropped on their conversation. Chapter 182 Cure. Mom, what happened to you? I asked in a serious voice. Earlier I had heard their conversation and knew something serious had happened to her. What do you mean? She asked as if she understood the question. I heard you people talking earlier, I stated. The expression of their faces changed suddenly before a look of understanding dawned on their faces. We will have to tell you sooner than later, said my father with deep sigh, and sadness could be seen both of their faces. Your mother had a very, very rare disease. It acts very randomly and only active during the pregnancy, my father said. A week ago we had noticed some problem with the baby, and after the detailed test, we noticed that your mother's body had started to slow down the supply of life force to the baby. If your mother's body didn't supply life force to the baby, you can guess what will happen, said my father in sadness. I felt like struck by lightning. I've never thought the problem was this series if something hadn't done quickly. My little sibling who's still growing inside my mother could die before it could come out in the world. Is it curable? I asked, trying to receive a positive answer. My father laughed mirthlessly hearing the question. To tell you the truth, it is very easy to cure, just need one potion, but that potion is like an unreachable mountain to weak people like us, but to the powerful people, it means nothing, said my mother. I felt relieved after hearing it is the potion. I already have 22 million on me, and after selling mana cores and honey of daffodil bees, I can definitely amass 150 million easily. Jim can help me buy potion. If he can, I am sure his parents would easily able to buy it as long as it isn't available in the Republic. Even if it more expensive than I can afford in my life, I still have a trump card, which is Ashlyn. With her treasure hunting ability on the table, I don't think anyone able to refuse it. As long as that potion within the Republic, I still have a chance of getting it. Which potion does Mother need? I asked with the bated breath. Life potion, or the thing that provides immense life force, but it is harder to find than life potion, he said. Life potion, or the thing that could bring out a similar effect. Hearing that name, I felt like a load that I was feeling for quite while loosening. Spending many days with Jill, I learned about many things, and what life potion is one of them. Life potion could be considered as elixir of life. It is the potion that provides life force. Those who had their life force sucked or spent by any reason and near at death's door could only be saved by this potion. No other potion could be work but this option. This potion had varied uses and could be said to one of the expensive potions in each grade. Grade 1 life potion's price is 50 million, while grade 2 cost 200 million and grade 3 said to be at near million. They are expensive and impossible to be brought by common man despite having money. I am sure Jim and Jill could easily buy with their social status and connection. They will surely help me as long as I asked and provided enough money. Even if I am short by some, they will surely provide it, but I don't think we will need life potion. What grade of life potion does Mom needs? I asked, hoping that it wouldn't be a high grade one. They both looked little confused by my question but decided to answer it. Grade 1 should barely able go to counter that deficiency, but we have grade 2 potion. Your mother will have an easy pregnancy and the baby would be absolutely fine, my father answered. I took a heavy sigh and felt quite free. The reason I thought my mother won't need life potion because I have something that is better than grade 1 and grade 2 life potion. It daffodil honey, a single drop of it has more life force than grade 2 life potion, and even if mother had needed grade 3 life potion, I would have added drop or two of daffodil honey and potion grade have become equal to the grade 3 potion. With Jim's help and connection, I am confident that he could help by grade 2 life potion. Mom, Dad, I don't think we will need life potion. I have something with me that is better than that. I said. What? Both of them shouted in unison that even Ashlyn, who was lazily sleeping on the table, opened for a while. What is it? Don't just about such thing, said both of them at the same time while their reaction was completely different. I get up from my chair, whisper something in their ears. Choo 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 choo. Suddenly both Ashlyn parents who were quietly submitting on table flew where Ashlyn was sleeping and start forcing her to get up. Choo choo, she first chirps annoyedly, seeing they are disturbing her from her precious after-meal sleep, but after their forceful chirp she flew away with them outside of the house. I take a sigh of relief seeing her going away. Ashlyn is very sensitive both in ears and smell. If she heard a simple mention honey, she would instantly get up and will start demanding the honey, as she had already demanded it tens of times in the past 3 days. Let's go to your room first, I said, and we left toward my parents' room. Hun. I let out a sound of a surprise seeing there are a lot of machines in the room. They must have to break them from the hospital to keep constant track of Mom's condition. I removed the delicate box from my storage. They were shocked seeing such case which larger than my pocket coming out it, but before they could ask, all their attention drawn by my words. The thing I have is honey of daffodil bees. They are one of the horrible monsters I've seen. They sucked all the energy of being while alive, leaving nothing but dusk. They were shocked hearing that. They will be more shocked if show them real footage I have in my holowatch. They will have a nightmare for a few days as I had after seeing it the first time. Not only it contains the life force of very powerful monster, but it also contains various other energies in the body, and not only that, this honey even contains the essence of very precious flowers and herbs. And that is why they know as a natural chemist to create such creation that even marveled by the top alchemist of the world, I said, and opened delicate case where with the 3 pieces of mystical medicine, there is a small piece of honeycomb which had golden brown honey. Mom, please lay in bed comfortably, I asked my mother. She did as asked and laid on her bed without asking any question. They hadn't asked any question since I started explaining to them about daffodil honey, probably too overwhelmed to say anything. I removed the piece of honeycomb with extreme care. Mom, please open your mouth, I said seriously, but inside I felt really weird asking about this. I pinched the honeycomb softly and brown drop honey fell in her mouth, and next moment look of ecstasy appeared on her face. Chapter 183 Effects of Honey. A look of utter ecstasy appeared on her face as the drop of honey fell on my mother's tongue. Her eyes became blurry and she just lay smiling on the bed without moving. The only relieving thing is that her complexion, which was that of sick, is recovering at a visible speed. My father tried to shake off my mother, but there is no response. Is this normal? My father asked. I don't know. But when Ashlyn had a drink this honey, she was out for nearly 6 hours and I was getting drunkenly vibes from her. He nodded and started to attach some machines to my mother to monitor her progress. I carefully placed honeycomb back into the case, very careful on not making any honey sticking to my hands as each drop costs more than $1 million. Chee-choo. Ashlyn comes flying as I about to close the lid of the box. She looked angry, so angry that her eyes are red. Choo-choo-choo. Ashlyn chirped angrily, saying I am stealing her food. This honey is hers and she had to work very hard to steal it from the daffodil bees. Busted. I thought. I took a sigh and pinched the honeycomb a little so that 1 drip of golden brown honey would come on my finger. Drink it, I said as placed my finger near her tiny mouth. Without waiting, with the help of her little tongue she quickly drank it. Chew, she suddenly lost focus and about to fall on the ground, but I picked her quickly and places her near my mother. Her expression also the same. It looked like she is experiencing some pleasant dream. This isn't going to be over soon, I said in my mind, and took the seat near the bed while my father is observing the multiple projections from the machine. That drop of blood is providing more than life force to your mother. It seemed to be healing and cleansing your mother's body, my father said softly with utter astonishment. I am not a bit surprised hearing this. The honey of daffodil bees contain many things. Life force is just one important part of it. Those bees not sucked life force but other energies like mana and vitality. Not only that, it also contains the essence of many flowers and herbs. They fuse them all perfection that human alchemist hardly able to do. That is why many high-level alchemists always research this honey and try to replicate their properties. Daffodil Bess called natural alchemists for nothing. You must be tired from your travel, you should take some sleep in your room, said my father, seeing me dozing off in the chair. He looked much better than he looked an hour before. The worry lines on his face seemed to be melting, so worry and tiredness that had reflected on his body. Okay, I said, he is right, I am really feeling tired from the travel. After giving a reassuring smile to my father, I walked toward my room. I did not pick up Ashlyn and let her sleep near my mother. It didn't take me long to fall in sleep, and when I woke up it's already afternoon. I slept for 4 hours. I said as I looked at the time in the holowatch. I wash my face with cold water, fishing up and fully arousing myself from the feeling of looseness I am feeling after waking up from the afternoon sleep. After waking up I walked towards my parents' room, hoping Mother would have woke up by now, but when I entered the room, I saw that both Mother and Ashlyn still not woken up from effective honey. My father seemed very happy though. Looks like it works better than I expected. There is no change in my Ashlyn's, she looks same a palm-sized chubby silver sparrow, but there is a big change in my mother. She looked radiant, her skin glowing with freshness. The marks, dark circle and whatever blemishes she has on her skin had completely vanished. The skin became youthful and she looked like she became younger. My mother's age is 40 years, but now she did not look a year older than 35. Jill had gold that this honey had an anti-aging, cleansing effects, and also used in many expensive beauty potions, but I did not expect the effect is too drastic. It is probably due to my mother's stage is too low. If she had been at sergeant or master the level, the effects wouldn't be this drastic. How is a mom? I asked again. She looked very good on the outside, and seeing the content smile on the face, it seems like the honey it worked, but I still asked his as reassurance. More than fine, not only that honey cured your mother's deficiency, it also providing baby Very's energies. I don't think your mother will have any complication during her pregnancy, he said happily. I nodded and sat on my previous chair for them to wake up. I only have to wait for half an hour before my mother started to come out of the effect of the honey. Mom. Evie. Mom suddenly got up and ran toward the bathroom, seeing her do that I have a faint idea where is she going. Ashlyn also suddenly came at me and asked me to open the flap of the tent before going out. Chew. Ashlyn also woke up from its effect and flew away. My father looked little confused but didn't ask. 10 minutes later my mother came out. Looks like she had taken a quick shower from her wet hair and smell of her body wash. Evie, how are you feeling? My father asked worriedly. Very good, she replied with the bright smile. Michael, whatever that drop of honey is, it's miraculous, she said as we walked toward the hall. All the sickness I had seen in her gone, she looked refreshing and full of energy like her past self. Evie, you should look yourself in the mirror, said my father. Chapter 184 Gifts. No, she said confusingly. Do I have something in my face, on my body? She asked as she started to check her face and body with her hands. You should look yourself in the mirror, said my father in teasing tone. Hearing his tone, she hastily walked toward the corner of the wall. She touched the small flat showpiece few times. Soon the flat showpiece started expanding and turned into a full-length mirror. Gasp. She let out a gasp as she looked herself in the mirror, caressing her skin which has become perfectly smooth. It's wonderful, she whispered while caressing her skin. Michael, you should also give your father that drop of honey, my mother said teasingly same time after she unwillingly deactivated the mirror. Ha ha ha, we all laugh a little at her words. I could easily give my father a few drops of honey, but it would be waste as it could not do much except cleanse his body. If it had had any help to my father's progress it would be a completely different thing, as I would have taken a drop as well, but sadly it made no effect in cleansing one's body. My heart pained little seeing Ashlyn had yet drunk another drop. That drop worth tens of millions of credits, yet she drank. It's the thing she brought, I said in my mind. If not for her bringing that little honeycomb, my mother would have been still sick and I would now be calling Jill and Jim for life potions. Seeing the mother is completely healed, the gloomy atmosphere had completely left our home, leaving everyone's mood to worn. We talked about all things. I shared some of my experience in West Blood and Space Realm, leaving dangerous parts aside to save them for extra worries, but they still guessed it. Michael, you have to be cautious and careful not only against monsters but humans also. They are ones who can stab you in your back, said my father in a warning tone. I know, father, I said. I've seen friends fighting and hunting teams turning on each other for little as Minster's core. I know very, very well to guard against. In 3 months since I've been in the West Blood, I've made only 2 good friends while others are just normal friends. I had brought some gifts for you, I said, and started to take out gifts from my storage. They looked shocked, not for the gifts that keep piling on the table but the place where I am taking out gifts from. Is that storage? Asked my mother stutteringly. The storages are very common in movies and TV, but in real life, they are extremely rare, so rare that many people were not able to see it in reality. Yes, I got quite lucky, I said, and started explaining about how I met Sean and Carol from the Central Continent and how they offered me a job in exchange for things. I toned it down on many things but made it convincing enough that my parents will have a hard time asking any question against it. As expected, they didn't ask any questions. Seeing for explanation is enough to quell some of their worries. These gifts are precious. How much did you spend on them? My other asked as she was feeling the red dress against her skin. Not enough, I answered smart-alecky. Hearing the response, she glared at me little before focusing on the various things on the table. Not only I brought dresses and jewelry for my mother, but I also brought many things that we had needed in the home, such as a new version of auto cleaner. The one we have in our home is ancient. I brought very few gifts to my father compared to my mother. He is a very simple man who has very few needs. He only loves 2 things, one his family while other his job. He is very academic and loved to study. If not for the economic constraints, he would not be just level 1 doctor. I have already prepared the biggest gift for him, which I will give him before leaving. Thank you, said my mother as she presses her hands against mine. My mother, like every other woman who likes to look beautiful and wear pretty clothes, and now in one day both of her wishes are fulfilled. You should meet your friend Ellen. I saw her in the morning when coming to picking you up, said my father. This surprised me. She never told me she was back in town when I talked to her 2 days ago. I talked to my parents for a while before walking toward the backyard to call Ellen. When I went in the backyard, I was pleasantly surprised to find Ashlyn is resting in Mother Lulu embrace in the small treehouse. Usually, she avoids affection whenever she could, but sometimes she also gives up her arrogance and acts naturally, like this time. Sitting on the armchair, I called Ellen. She picked at the first ring. I was just coming toward your home, she said directly without greeting. She is making one of the surprise visits that she had fond of, but this time I called and spoilt it. When do you come to town? I asked. As far I know, the new recruits rarely get leave, and just a month ago she became D-grade member for me. She must be training hard to maintain her D-grade membership that coming to town. The organization has a strict hierarchy. E and D-grade members are considered a waste of the member. They get lowly administration job or assigned helper to advanced grade members. C-grade member is those who are below elite. There were many C-grade members were in the space realm. I can guess that my power is compared to the C-grade member of organization, and if do special training properly for a year, my ability may reach near that of elite B member of the organization. Ellen had wanted to become C-grade member at least at her first year of training, as it is very hard to advance your membership at the organization after training is over. You will be happy to know that, in these 3 months, I worked my ass off, and 1 month ago I've become D-grade member, as you know, but what you don't know that 4 days ago, I tried for C-grade member and I got selected for it. I got the leave because there are still 5 days time till training for C-grade members starts, she said proudly. I was very shocked hearing that. In just 3 months she had become qualified to train for C-grade member training. She must have worked very hard to that. I will also not have this power if not for various chances and many life and death moments I've come across in the space realm. Now that my surprise is spoiled, let's meet at Adolph's Cafe at 15, asked Alan. Okay, I said as went inside my home to change. Chapter 185, Meeting Ellen. Oh. I noticed that while coming out of my house, I wore my grade 1 boots instead of regular shoes. Seeing I am halfway into the way of Adolph's Cafe, I resumed to walk ahead. These boots don't look that bad, they are just little metallic. Tinkle, a pleasant tinkle sounded as I entered the cafe. Ellen was sitting in the corner, elegantly sipping the coffee. She has ash-blonde straight hair and porcelain-like face. Whoever looked at her became entranced by her grace and beauty. She is one of the people who are born with an inborn grace. Whatever they do, their every moment seems graceful. She is also my first crush in this town, but that crush got drowned in the cold water as she only digs girls. Michael here, she shouted softly, seeing me coming through the door. I walked toward her and took a seat beside her. Not bad, looks like I have to work hard to catch up to you, Ellen said in praise as sensed I am at mid-level of specialist stage. You better work hard or you will be left behind. I teased as she is only at the initial level of corporal stage, but I am confident she will catch up. So, how was the new space realm that opened on the Green Hills? She asked. Very dangerous, I said with sincerity. It was very dangerous and thousands of people die inside it. Tell me from the beginning? She asked impatiently. She really acts like children sometimes. I started to tell how I accidentally entered the realm and found myself in the wasteland where no human could be seen, and when I told about how people from the central continent could kill corporal-level monsters easily, she is shocked. You are not joking, right? She asked and looked at me carefully. No, I swear, I am not joking. I would have definitely recorded it if I had not been starstruck by their power, I said. I kept going while skipping some parts like Shan's offer and the storage and night-grade equipment I've got in return. I have only stopped when I reached the part of the story where I reached the main camp outside the Sint Forest. The monsters you face looks very dangerous, Ellen said, serious tone. They were ants compared to what we faced inside the Sint Forest, I said and shuddered. I still felt quite scared when I think out fiery lions and sawtooth earthworms monsters. What type of monsters did you face? She asked with extreme curiosity. We faced monsters of C and B grade monsters, both upper and lower grades of it, I said. Her eyes completely went wide and look of disbelief after that. You are kidding me, right? She asked as I am joking with her, and probably I had also like her if I had heard it from her. Do you know super elites? I asked as she is still believing I am kidding with her. Of course. They are legends, she said. I can see deep reverence in her eyes. In an organization, B-grade member is elites, while A-grades are those who had completed the super elite training but aren't super elites, but they have a chance to become one. Super elites in organization are considered beyond the grades. They are considered true backbone of their organization. They were also there, about 15 of them, I said. This time she looked very angrily at me. You think I am idiot? 15 super elites. Even our organization did not have this many elites, she said through gritted teeth. She looked really angry. If I did not give her the proof right now, she might as well attack me. I have proof this time, I said hastily and projected the privacy screen from the table. After exiting the space realm, they had not only taken half the resources from everyone but also were making them delete whatever they have captured and recorded in the space realm. Jill had warned me not to upload or share this material with anyone, otherwise people from the organization come knocking my door. Ellen looked a little baffled, seeing me erecting privacy screen, but did not question. I tapped play and 2 gigantic sawtooth earthworms appeared in the screen. This is the first battle I've recorded on my HoloWatch and first time seeing the power of the super elite. Are those gigantified monsters? Ellen asked, seeing 2 monsters roaring threateningly and ant-like humans running away. Yes, they are gigantified monster. We have come across many of them, I said. Soon 2 people started to attack the gigantified monsters, one with a spear while other the bow. Their attack efficient and without any mistake, but one could see how casual the fight is and how the 2 toying with the monster who are tens of times bigger than them. Ellen is so concentrated on the fight that she forgot to blink. I was also like that when I saw prowess of super elites. In 2 minutes the video was over, but it has taken Ellen a minute more to come out of it. Do you have some more of recording like this? She asked. I nodded and started to play the recording where super elite fighting the gigantified monsters like this is where their prowess shows. In 20 minutes all recordings are over. I only played those recording which has a camera of my HoloWatch stable, as I also had to fight. I got very few chances to record the fights carefully. They are more powerful than I expected," Ellen said with a slow voice after she finished watching all the recording. I can only smile at that. I've only come to know about the super elites in the space realm, and that is where I saw their prowess. Seeing this recording, I want to train harder to reach their level," Ellen said spiritedly. "Me too," I replied, and who wouldn't? Many people would do anything to gain this type of power. "Coffee," a voice called out, and the girl brought us coffee that we ordered. "The girl is pretty and maybe a year older than us." "Thank you," Ellen said in a melodic voice as she reached her hand, took the cup from the girl's hand while caressing her hand a little. She nearly dropped the coffee cup while blushing. She somehow put my cup down and walks away in haste while blushing heavily. I rolled my seeing that and said, "Really, would you leave some girls for normal people? You must have slept with half the girls in 2 this year. If you had an eye on her, you could have told me first, and for your information, I left plenty of girls for other people," she said with pride. I don't know how she can have pride about such thing. Ellen has no shame when it comes to girls. She even seduced girlfriends of their classmates. Seeing my expression, something had dawned on her face suddenly. "Oh, I get it. Looks like you are still angry at me for taking bite off your little crush," she said with a triumphant smile. "Bite? You had full-on sex with her." I wanted to shout but controlled myself. It was also my mistake if I had told her I had a crush on Mara. I don't think she would have hit on her. I wanted to say this, but something happened suddenly. Siren! 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 A loud siren blared across the town, informing townspeople that monsters are about to attack the town. Chapter 186 Challenge I. Siren! 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 Loud blaring sirens started to boom across the town at the same time. "Attention, this is not a drill but an emergency. Please take shelter in nearest bunker. Monsters are coming," we both said to each other in unison, and get out of cafe like the rest of us. I tried to control my racing heart and emotions. Whenever I hear these blaring sounds, I started to panic. Ever since that incident 5 years ago, I had developed an instinctive fear against these sirens and loud announcements. I didn't have any panic attacks in the past 2 years, but still had my heart racing and emotion in turmoil. "Let's go," said Ellen and started to run. I followed her without much thinking. While running, I received many messages from my parents asking me to take shelter in the nearest bunker. "Where are we going?" I asked Ellen as we ran past the bunker that is nearest to us. "Towards the wall. My parents, sheriffs, would also be there," she replied. I wanted to stop her and ask her to run back toward the bunker, but soon I remembered that I am not the same Michael I was 3 months before. I am changed, evolved through my experience and hardship that I faced. The monsters that are attacking our town could be considered trash against what I faced in the space realm. And I also wanted to test my power against normal monsters, but one thing I am confident in doing, that killing corporal level monsters. I don't think I will have a problem facing them. It's only been 2 minutes, but the streets are becoming empty of people. The one thing normal people fear more are the monsters. As soon as they heard sirens, soon the wall comes into my view, and some people could be seen standing in front of him. Chew! Ashlyn suddenly came flying and landed in my shoulder. "Do you came to help me, Ashlyn?" I asked Ashlyn as I ran toward the wall with Ellen. "Choo-choo," she chirped arrogantly in affirmation. In space realm she barely able got the chance fight, seeing monsters in the realm much more powerful, but here she can fight. With her concentrated fireballs, I don't think many socialist monsters able to counter it. The wall is 20 meters tall and thickly built, and it also has grade 1 protection artifact fitted inside. The protection artifact may not be as good as Clock Dome, but it's still able to thwart up to Sergeant Stage monsters. Only especially strong Sergeant Stage monster or above stage monsters could break the wall. That is not the only defense town has. There are few cannons, mayor, sheriff's department, and some independent corporal also there to fight for town's protection. There is one officer from the sheriff's department at the base of the wall and about to stop us from going up when a voice comes from above. "Let them come," a voice come from above. I was little started from hearing that voice. Not only me but Ellen also started. We both thought we will get angry rebuked for coming here, and Ellen probably has to plead her father to let us come above. Without wasting any time we both climbed the satires with our fastest speed, and when I went up, I was quite surprised seeing a lot more people than I expected. Especially a thin man in his late 20s who giving off the same aura as that fat friend of Jill and William. He is definitely lieutenant stage or above. Not only I, but Ellen has also stopped on her tracks seeing him. Ellen's father and sheriff seem to be fawningly talking to him. He had to, with this grade of expert here, there is no need to worry. Hun. We both made a surprising sound as we spotted Kevin behind the thin man. Not only him, but there are also 11 people same as him with varies the level of specialist grade power. Kevin also has his 3 eyes devil monkey on his shoulder like last time. It very quite compared to last time as it is quietly sitting on Kevin's shoulder, but just as it saw Ashlyn on my shoulder, it started bared its teeth at her. Looks like it still hadn't forgotten the fiery sting that Ashlyn gave it last time. Ellen, come meet with Mr. Liam, he is the instructor of Kevin's. They are just passing by our town but decided to help our town if any dangerous monster attack, Mayor explained as he called his daughter. From what I heard, the training method of Shadow Rogues is completely different. They have the lowest number of all top 7 organization, but every member of them is well trained to compare to other organizations. Every group of 12 recruits is given to an instructor to train for 3 months. In these 3 months, the instructor will train and evaluate them with independent and survival training. There were some members of Shadow Rogues in the space realm, especially their super elite who came as the reinforcement for last battle. The combat styles used by Shadow Rogues prefer speed and agility, and they used short weapons. The super elite of Shadow Rogue was the fastest person I had ever seen. His attacks were so fast that my eyes wouldn't able to catch it, and his blade moves in such fashion that it is totally confused the eye. Not only him but other members of Shadow Rogues were also like that, just less powerful. After watching the group from Shadow Rogues, I watch other people on the wall. All of them at the corporal level, most of them from the sheriff's department, while some were an independent expert from town, and I spotted 3 seniors of ours, who also should be visiting the town on their leave. Growl. The monster bear growled as monsters gathered in the same place. There seem to about 200-something monsters. 3/4 of them are at the specialist stage while left 1/4 is at corporal stage. Chapter 187 Challenge 2. The monsters seemed to be finished grouping and could attack at any moment, but they seemed to wait for some instruction. Such a group of above 250 monsters must have some leaders, probably some sergeant-level monsters, otherwise they would have been attacking the wall already. Now they are just roaring and growling, but they will attack in a few minutes. Ellen, Michael, are you up for the little challenge? Kevin asked in a loud voice with a complacent smile hanging on his face. What challenge? Ellen and I asked in unison. To know who can kill the most monsters. Only 14 of us will fight the monsters below. Each level on a monster will have point. Those who will gain the highest points wins the. Now do you have guts to accept it? Asked Kevin. This Kevin never changed. He is complacent and too confident in his abilities, but I have to say he had the power to say it. In our batch, he was second best in combat after Ellen. If not for his low academic score, he would have come second instead of me. The challenge he spoke of quite interesting, though there are more than 200 monsters and some sergeant stage monster may be hiding, despite that I have confidence in myself with the help of the skill I have. I am confident that I can kill any corporal level monsters here. What I wanted to know is if I can kill sergeant stage monsters here with my fire strike. I was about to say bring it on when Mayor cut in. It's too dangerous. Let us adults fight the monsters, said Mayor. I could see Ellen stealthy glaring at her father. It's fine, Mr. Mayor, let children fight. I promise you, no one will come to harm, said the thin instructor Liam. Mayor's face seems like he wanted to reject, but a hearing promise made by a powerhouse like Liam, he decided to accept it. How will the points get assigned? Ellen asked the question before I could. Simple: initial level specialist stage monster worth 1 point, mid-level with 2 points, peak level worth 3 points. Initial level corporal stage worth 6 points, mid-level worth 8 points, and peak level worth 10 points. While the initial level sergeant stage monster's worth 20, the instructor said that the initial level sergeant stage monster is most powerful here. Explained Kevin. Are our monsters allowed to fight? I asked, want to enter this challenge knowing all the rules and limits of it. Monsters, potions, artifact, everything is allowed as long as it not the outside interference, said Kevin. We will start a fight in 3 minutes sharp. He added. Thank God I had accidentally wore my boots. I had taken out my knight grade sword which left deactivated on my waist and shield bracelet when I was running towards the wall with Ellen. The only thing I am lacking is armor. Ellen had already started wearing the artifacts of her father. Here, take it. I heard when I looked up I found it was Senior Tom giving me his armor. He was my upperclassman in school and had also joined an organization year ago, but now he had already reached corporal level. Thank you, Senior Tom. I said and quickly wore the armor. Now that I am in perfect condition, let's see who is the best now. Everyone had prepared their weapons and just ready for the time to be over. Some of the members of Kevin's team held contemptuous looks whenever they looked at us, especially me. They probably looked down on me, seeing I don't have a badge of any organization like Ellen or they have on their chests and arm. I smiled at their contemptuous attitude. I am preparing to take the first place. I am sure that I have more experience of life and death fighting than these people. 3 weeks of constant fighting with the edge of death will make you push your limits to the extreme. No matter how special training they have in the forest, there may be life and death events, but they are all controlled. They knew if anything bad happens they have their instructor to save them at last minute. The only thing they can beat me is combat style and skill. I have barely learned the basics of combat style, and in the skill department, no one can compare to organization members. I have seen many C-grade members of the organization having more than 5 skills and 1 or 2 in the 1,000 even have knight grade skill which only elite members should have. I will not look down them as I know many things can turn the battle tide, and with the lieutenant stage powerhouse personally teaching them, their power should above average compare C-grade members of other organizations. The monsters had already finished grouping, not they are just roaring and growling at each other. Only 10 seconds remain. I adjust my breathing and calm myself. I had already chosen the spot I am going to land. Fight, said Instructor Liam loudly, and hearing the sound, all 12 of jumped down the 20-meter wall. No one used the temporary exit that Mayer had opened. Air could be heard whistling past my ears as I am falling below, but I have no fear. Ellen and some other people in the Kevin's group had already started using their skills. Their bodies seemed falling slow to the ground compared to me. Sky steps. I activated the systems when I am 10 meters above the ground to manage my fall. No matter how strong my body is right now, some of its bones will surely break if it fell from the 20 meters. Boom boom bam. Ashlyn and other monsters had already started attacking and killing the monsters, and after we landed in the ground the fighting pace will again increase. The fight should not be able to last more than 10 minutes. 2 thoughts I about to land near monsters. I have seen many people who landed on the thick group of monsters. Those idiots paid a heavy price for their mistakes. It is fine if there are 4 or 5 monsters, but if their group of monsters containing more than 10 monsters same as you, that would be utterly idiotic. Thud. I landed in the ground with this and ran toward the monsters while circulating supreme combat exercise. Slash. My sword unhesitantly at the group of specialist grade monster. My sword slid into their necks without feeling any obstruction. I was right. These group of specialist stage monsters is easy to kill ants. Now I to go deeper into the monster group, as that is where the corporal level monsters. My sword kept swinging ferociously. Every swing of my sword will kill the monster. No matter which level of specialist grade monster will come into my way, it will be killed. From the corner of my eyes, I saw a member of Kevin's group, who are looking at me in astonishment as it has taken him a couple of moves to kill while I am killing it in a single move. I was reveling in the glory of his astonishment when I caught arrow flying above me and hitting the corporal level monster little ahead of me. Fuck Archer, I shouted in my mind. Chapter 188 Challenge 3. Fuck Archer, I shouted in my mind, seeing the arrow flying over me and hitting corporal level monster not far from me. Thud, it is fell on the floor with the thud. The monster is not dead yet. it is still flailing like his fish that brought out of water. It should die within a few minutes, I thought in my mind when 2 seconds later another arrow hit it, killing it effectively. First tide. I said and activated the power of the first tide. With 5 seals and power of mid-level specialist stage, I can easily maintain the power of first tides for near half an hour. As my power doubled, the specialist stage around me had become wooden blocks that are waiting to be chopped off by me. It will take me just around 30 seconds to reach where corporal level monsters are. I just hope that the archer wouldn't kill too much of corporal level monster. Archery, one of the best tool for monsters hunting. With it one can be safe and also hunt more monsters compared to other weapons wielder. The thing can help one make kill count the same as an archer is a wide range of skill, but archer can also use those skill. Only these wide-range type of skills can help one kill a large number of monsters, but wide-range skill cannot be used by specialist stage. These skills could only be used by some powerful corporal stage evolvers like elites and super elites. I kept killing monsters while also keeping an eye on others. I felt rather pleased that there is not anyone who is matching half of my speed. I can't see Kevin and Ellen for them on being either side, but their speed shouldn't be greater than me. Puchak. I sliced another snake monster's head off before it could do anything. Just 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, I will reach where corporal monsters are. I could jump and land there with the help of the sky steps, but that would rather be a risky move. Haha. I let out a laugh as I killed the monsters that other was targeting and move on to another monster without giving her second look. As more and monster getting killing, many people would target the same monster like just now. To gain a point I just have to kill it before others. No matter how he injured it heavily, as long as you killed it, the point is yours. Finally, I said in my mind, I attack initial level corporal stage searing hog. It is also attacking me with its blazing hot red tusks, but its speed is too slow compared to my sword. I am only attacking it with the power of the first tide. I want to see if it is enough, or I will have to add the power of another tide in the mix. Poochie. My sword directly pierced through its skull. I swiftly removed my sword and quickly feed the mana to the lively wind so that I could dodge the dead body of a searing hog that about to collide against me. I wouldn't have received any injuries except for taking a step or two back by the collision, but I decided to play it safe. Sometimes complication happened by simple mistakes. I've experienced it and also saw it with my own eyes many times. After killing a searing hog, I moved towards another initial level monsters without wasting any moment. I attacked it with the same way as I did to searing hot, and like earlier it's dead in the single strike. The other people also increased their pace of attacks, not as fast as me. The only one I see who is faster than me is Archer from above. The only good thing that Archer arrow is not quick. There is a time of 1 to 3 seconds between each arrow, depending on the stage of the target that arrow is striking. This is also giving me the hope that I can beat the archer. I now using lively wind and 9 raging strikes at the same time to increase my speed of killing. Soon I saw mid-level specialist stage monster not far away from it. I ran towards without giving much thought to some initial level monsters around me. Chug! I drank the 2 mana potion at the same time and also notched my skill power to second tide. With the power of second tide and lively wind, I attacked it, and like initial level monsters that I killed it in one strike. After killing I moved to another mid-level monster. While I am attacking, a thought suddenly struck me. How easily I am killing the monster. Before entering the space realm, I had to fight the monster of the stage above me for at least half an hour before killing, but now a single move is enough. Just single move, I can kill a monster that is stage above me in a single move. It would have been impossible before entering the space realm, but now I actually do it without injuring myself. There are many reasons for that, and first and foremost is an experience. I fight with monsters for 3 weeks at the edge of life and death. The monster of that realm was many times dangerous, especially monsters in the Sind Forest who were bipedal like humans. They were stronger than their 4-legged selves, who were already a lot more powerful monsters of our realm. They were faster and stronger, and being bipedal they had more form of attacks. We had many disadvantages fighting against bipedal monsters than the 4 legs one. I've received many life-threatening injuries fighting against them than normal monsters. The second reason is seals of supreme combative created in the realm. I've created 4 seals of supreme combat exercise in the realm, that shows how difficult the condition I've faced. I am only able to circulate the moves of exercise when I am dangerous combat or threatening condition. Last but not least, the third reason is skills. It's because of skills that I am so easily able to kill them. If not for skills, mid-level specialist stage monster would have been my limit and I would have to fight it for 1 or 2 hours to kill it. Fighting in a crowded fight like this would have been very hard. Swish. Poochie. The arrow pierced the monster I was attacked, killing the monster immediately. I didn't concern myself with Archer and attacked another monster. This is not the fair fight but a competition. Those who have the ability will be the winner. There is no use to cry foul over your prey being killed by others. Even more, I had no right to cry foul as I killed that monsters that others were attacking earlier. Growl. A monster's roar sounded not far from me, and when I looked up, I found peak specialist grade Scarlet Bear coming toward me. I smiled seeing it coming toward me. I activated the third tide immediately and ran toward it as I activated Lively Wind. I am circulating exercise and also using 2 skills together to get better power for my attacks. Scarlet Bears are the most powerful monsters in the group and I will attack it with all my power except using Fire Strike on it. Growl. It growled at me loudly and increases its speed seeing I closing on it. Swish. It attacked me with its scarlet paw. As its paw few inches away from me, I flipped using small jump and used that momentum to attack its neck. Pack hack. Growl. My sword hit squarely on its neck but didn't able to kill it with a single strike. I am not surprised seeing it was not killed at single strike, though I was not able to kill it. I got it heavily injured and I am confident in killing it with the second attack I am launching. Grow. Poochie. My sword passed through its neck before it could finish its growl and paw it was trying to attack me fell with its body on the ground. When I removed my sword from its neck, I found the environment little peculiar and look up but what I saw left me dumbfounded. All the people that were fighting are looking at me shocked expression on their faces, especially Kevin and Ellen. All I could do smile sheepishly at them. Chapter 189 Challenge 4. I can only give them a sheepish smile as I went back to the killing. There are still many monsters that are left to kill. It had been barely 5 minutes since the fight started. Human and their monster partner fought together to kill these attacking monsters. Chug. Taking a chug of another mana potion bottle, I ran toward another peak corporal monster. As the monsters are lessening, more and more people started attacking the same monsters. The archer and I quickly started to steal other people and monsters' prey as there were no independent monsters left. They must have a habit of archer stealing their prey, but whenever I kill their prey, they looked at me. I've kissed their precious little sister. It is a little hilarious. I wanted to laugh out loud whenever I saw their angry eyes on me. I also experienced this thing in the space realm. As we entered the Sind Forest, everyone's abilities had skyrocketed and no one wanted to share their praise in first few days despite having difficulty fighting against it, but the monster started to get stronger. More and more people looked up to for help as monsters were too much and too powerful. I can only laugh and continue to kill monsters that were in my way. As the battle has proceeded, I've entered that battle mode used to enter after started to fight with monsters in the realm. In this mode, my emotions turn calm and a little cold, but my fighting efficiency increased few percents as my mind and body coordination upped by the notch. I firstly not had noticed it, but in the last few days in the realm, I started to notice in my last few days in the realm, and when I searched this on the web, I found it on the web. This phenomenon is not common but also not rare. People devolved it if they do one thing with 100% confidence for a few days. It is not applied only for fighting but everything else as long as you do with extreme concentration. It is little different than practice though. If we same thing every day, we had a practice of it and it will make doing that thing little easier than yesterday. Both of the things may seem similar but they are different. Now back to the battle. The monsters are getting killed by the minutes and seeing that their numbers are dwindling, some monsters went to frenzy. One boy hit squarely on the chest by the monster's claw. It is a good thing he is protected by his armor, otherwise that injury would have been way too serious. Many people felt pressure as some monsters entered into a frenzy, but it did not affect my pace even bit. I've fought with hundreds of monsters who are infected with madness and were a lot crazier than that. Now that frenzy started, the real monsters will definitely enter the battle within the minute, and I would have to be ready as they are going to give me most points and hope to win against the archer who is shooting the arrows from above. Chug, I drank another bottle of mana potion. Just as precautions, I will probably use Fire Strike and will need all the mana I could get. As time passed, more and more monsters getting killed while I calmly fought against the monsters. The evening moon could be seen in the sky, release faint light to illuminate everything. Today is a full moon and moonlight is extra bright today, otherwise, the mayor would have had to switch on the bright light on the wall. It felt like the battle is happening for quite a while, but only 8 minutes had been passed. 1 more minute passed and less than 10 monsters remain, and they are getting killed every new seconds thanks to the archer and me. Roar. Grow. A very loud growl rang out. It was so loud that it made my ears deaf for the minute, but instead of feeling annoyed by this deafening growl, I turned happy. The real monsters are coming, and I was right. Soon 6 about 8 to 10 meters tall scarlet bears and searing hogs came out of the forest and swiftly attacked toward our group. People expression changed a little, seeing, although they look scared, they are not worried as they know their instructor would save them. Fire Strike. I attack as they just came out of the forest. I've long since waited for this moment, and when I heard the growl, I prepared my attack and attacked them just as they got out of the forest. 3 silver bolts of fire released from my sword, one by one toward 3 monsters. I too a sigh of disappointment internal, seeing there are still 3 monsters left to kill. If I drink mana potion now, I will have to wait least for 1 minute for mana to reach my refinement engine, and by that time monsters would have already had reached me. Just as I launched an attack, I activated Lively Wind with little mana I have left in me. I watch my 3 silver fire bolts traveling slowly through air. 3 golden arrows are not much behind it. Night grade skill. I immediately guessed, seeing the power they excluding, that these arrows are night grade skill, and it looks to be the same level as my Fire Strike. Poo poo poo. The 6 attacks consecutively hit the 6 monster while I am still moving with the Lively Wind. I watch the monsters anxiously, seeing if they really dead or not. The highest grade monster I had killed with my Fire Strike is initial level Corporal the Fiery Lion. It was a lucky shot. It had directly pierced through its eyes. If it were any other parts of it, I doubt I would able to kill it. Crash bang bang. The 6 monsters lost momentum and fell on the ground, colliding with many dead bodies of monsters. They are dead. I shouted in my mind as I saw that scarlet bear on the ground which had no life left in its eyes. Chapter 190 Result. All 6 are monsters dead as they hit by my and Archer's night grade skills. Chug. I drank another mana potion and moved toward the remaining corporal stage monsters without caring for dumbfounded expression everyone faces. If Michael had back eyes and looked up toward the wall, he would have seen the dumbfounded expression on everyone's faces except for the instructor and the archer. The remaining monsters are all peak level corporal monster, worth 10 points each. Though they are dumbfounded, they are still trying to kill the monster, but is too bad. They would need minute at a minimum while I need only a few seconds to kill them. I am not the only one who thought that. The archer from above also thought the same, that is why the arrows never stopped shooting. Within a minute, the monsters dead and everyone started to take rest a little, but I did not. As soon as monsters are dead, I started to remove the cores of the monsters that I killed. In the space realm, we have given hardly any time for harvest core before we started moving. So, no matter how tired we felt, especially free adventurers, we would always harvest cores of the monster. I didn't even feel tired by this 10 minutes battle. I've fought for hours before. Compared to that, this small fight is nothing. I've never expected you to this powerful. I have to work really hard to catch up to you, said Ellen. As we were walking up the stairs, everyone had taken out the cores of the monsters, and people of the sheriff department and mayor's office are loading the monster bodies in the hover trucks. If it was past, would surely claimed bodies or would have asked some money for the monster bodies they are taking. The bodies of monsters I've killed worth 500,000, but now I no longer care. I've understood my power, and knowing how I can least kill initial level sergeant level monster with my skill, no longer cared for the monster bodies. I now will not have to worry about the money, as long as I am willing to go hunt for them, I will be able to swim in the money. Now the first thing I have my agenda is to go to start the systematic training, level up to peak level and find the ways to break the strain limit. Without it, I won't be able to level up to corporal level, much less participate in League of Heroes, which the minimum limit is peak level of master stage. What are you thinking? Ellen asked. Nothing much, just thinking ways to break Ashland's strain limit. I said. Snort. I heard snort from the back. I didn't have to turn my head to know it is Kevin. His mood is especially bad right now. First, he is definitely in a bad mood losing into me. Although points haven't announced yet, it wouldn't take a genius to know after seeing Monster's body count, seeing I've killed way more monsters than him. And the second reason he is bad mood because of his monster. While fighting, Kevin's three-eyes devil monkey tried a sneak attack on Ashland to take revenge for the incident that of 3 months ago, but like last time its attack failed. One can see little burned hairs of three-eyed devil monkey who is baring its teeth in anger at Ashland, who flying in the air without giving a glance to a monkey. All of you done well, especially you, said Instructor Liam, pointing at me as we all climbed the wall. Thank you for praise, Sir Liam, I said politely as my gaze landed on the girl beside him. So, this is the archer. This girl is quite pretty and standing beside the instructor with a serious face. She had deactivated her weapon, or I would have seen what kind of bow she used. I had faint inkling, seeing the power of the arrows, that the Baoshi is not the normal grade 1 artifact but knight grade artifact. I have gained quite a knowledge about bows in the realm, as there were many archers, but no is comparable to Rachel, of course. Everyone has done quite well. It is very out of my expectation, said Mayer happily. Now I will announce the points on the number of monsters you have killed, he said, and list projected on Mayer's holowatch. The one who gets the highest points is Miss Rain. She had scored 205 points, said Mayer. I was a little disappointed hearing I am not the one who scored the highest points. If it comes to killing monsters, I am sure I am the one killed more monster than her, but she had targeted only corporal stage and sergeant stage monsters. The second is Kevin, who scored 197 points, said the mayor. A hint of appreciation could be heard from his eyes. One more monster and you would have beaten that girl, whispered Ellen in my ear. I smiled at her words but shook my head in disagreement. I had already used my all from the beginning, and if that archer knew I would perform this better, she would have used her all from the beginning, not when she thought I was catching up to her. The third place is gained by 2 people as they both got 76 points, said Mayer with pride, as this was the score of his daughter. I have to say, Kevin and Ellen lot more progress than I imagined. If I had not accidentally entered the realm, I would have been last in this challenge. I am not sure even if entered the challenge as well. Before entering the space realm I was at private stage and I had leveled up 2 times in the space realm because of the lucky chances I've come across. One by one Mayer announced the points of all people, and the boy who had scored least points is barely holding on his tears. I wanted to laugh so loud seeing that, but I somehow controlled myself. Chapter 191 Shocked. Thank you for the armor, Senior Tom, I said as I returned the armor to my former upperclassman. It's nothing, he replied lightly. I have to say, your performance shocked everyone here, praised Senior Tom. I just smiled at his praise. After talking a few words with Senior Tom, I walked back toward the Ellen. All the monsters' bodies had been lifted and transported back to the town. The corporal level powerhouse also left one by seeing the danger of the monsters are over. What surprised me is Instructor Liam and his charges as they walked toward the house. I thought they would spend at least night at the town, but looks like he takes the training of his charges very seriously. Seeing them leaving, Ellen's father took a sigh of relief, probably thinking he didn't have to worry about such powerhouses' hospitality anymore. Me shall wait, I'll drop you off, Ellen said, seeing me leaving. She quickly catches up to me and started to climb down the stairs. We soon reached on the ground and started to walk together toward my home. That was knight grade skill you used in the last, right? Ellen asked. I smiled hearing her question. Her face had to show the contemplation for some time, thinking to ask or not this question, as this is related to trump card and such question isn't asked even amongst friend. Jill had never asked me a direct question about storage, knight grade artifact, and skill, she just hinted it and I had affirmed her hints. Ellen asks due to immense curiosity she was feeling and had no other intention. Yes, it was night grade skill. I said, I knew it, she shouted loudly. Thank God. There are no people on the street otherwise they thought her as mad, shouting in the middle of the street. We talked about many things as we walked and this time she asked me every detail of the space realm. She had really got a huge shock seeing my performance earlier. She earlier thought her and my power would be nearly the same, despite me being a level higher because she is getting specialized training while I am just a free adventure. She was natural to thought this, and if not for the space realm, I don't think I would be her match. As getting skill and creating this many seals would have been nearly impossible if I were in Westblood, not in the space realm. Not only she asked about me, she also talked about her life in the training camp. It is as I expected but also little different. She said that they had an extremely strict training schedule and end of every day she would become so tired that she will not have any energy to do anything. Every month they have a big test to measure their progress. Those who perform better and pass the criteria will have a chance to advance their membership. I am confident I can qualify for the elite training if I work double hard for 6 months at least. Ellen said, clenching her teeth. Due to her parents being a member of the organization, she knew many things from the start. Although they were just normal members, they still knew quite a lot and they started telling her many things from childhood, training her to be a powerhouse. From childhood, she bears the burden of their expectations. Have you made any new girlfriend? I asked to lighten the mood. I've made many, do you want to see them? She said with her usual smile and started to open the folder of photos. There's no need, I said while keeping my hands in front of me. Relationships are not Ellen's thing, she liked to seduce girls, hook up and leave them with a kiss. I marvel at her ability. I've seen many ugly breakups but with Ellen, things never turn ugly. I've never seen or heard any girl making any scene or become vengeful after a hookup. She seduces girls so flawlessly that even after a hookup, her past flames will talk to her cordially whenever they met. I still remember my breakup, though it wasn't an ugly one. I still cried for a day or two. Soon we reached the doorstep of my time. Take this, I said and handed her a thumb-sized crystalline thing. What is it? She asks as she started to observe it. She thought it was some kind of crystal rock but she found it is soft and squishy. A mystical medicine, it will save you some hard work. I replied. Gasp. She took a gasp hearing name mystical medicine. This will help you a lot, but you will feel immense pain for an hour. Circulate supreme combat exercise. It will help you cope with pain and if you are lucky, then you will be able to make some seals, I said. She stood quiet for a while before nodding. She suddenly came and hugged me while giving me a light peck on the cheek before leaving toward her house. I stood there watching her leaving back before going inside my house. The house is empty, it will take an hour at least for my parents to come. As a preventive measure for safety, the mayor will tell a citizen to come out least for 2 hours after monsters are killed. When did you come? My mother asked after she came back from the bunker with my father. Just a few minutes ago, I replied. After they freshen up we ate our dinner and after that watched some TV together before sleeping. When I woke up the next morning, I found simple thank you message which comes on my holowatch in midnight from Ellen. When I called her, I was surprised to find out she had left the town and already on the train. When I asked why is she leaving so early, she said that she gained immensely from eating mystic medicine and needs to practice her strength before her training starts. She did not tell me when I asked how much seals she had created but told me she had gained enough to match 5 to 6 of hard work. Before cutting off the call she promised me that next time we meet she will definitely beat me. Competitive as ever, she never liked to use and when she sees competition, she will work harder than ever. Time passed by at home as I happily spent quality time with my parents. On the 3rd day of my leave, I gave the piece of mystic medicine to parents while warning him of its immense pain. My mother and I with him when he ate that piece. I was shocked when I saw my father didn't make a single sound, she was utterly quiet. If not him seeing him grit his teeth and wet clothes due to sweat, I would have thought my father is not feeling any pain. To not make a single sound needs immense willpower. I personally had experienced this pain and knew how immense it is. Even William, who boasts in front of his sister about super elite training being extremely hard painful, could not stop himself from making many silent noises. Seeing him not making a single sound, a new form of respect arose in my heart for my father. I got even more huge shock when my father come out of the effects of mystical medicine and I asked him how many seals he had created. 5. That much seals he had created. 5. I was only able to create 1 seal. Ellen would have created maximum 2 seals, but my father had created fucking 5 seals, and that's not all. He said he is very close to creating the 6th seal. I congratulated my father and said to him to work hard about creating the 6th seal. He can create 6 in a month if worked hard enough. My father had again gave me a huge surprise by creating 6 seals 2 days later. I asked if he did not feel pain or not. He said he did feel pain, but it is not much as he felt after the mystical medicine. My father was an orphan and did not have much interest fighting, he is more interest in academic. Still, I encouraged him to try to create more seals. If by chance they come across any danger, he would be able to protect my mother. He nodded, saying, he will give some time of days to supreme combat exercise. Time passed by and soon came the day of my leaving. Chapter 192. Return to West Blood. My train in 3 hours. I said in my mind as I checked the time on my holowatch. My mother is crying and hugging me since morning, making me promise to visit them next month. It is probably her pregnancy hormones that making her this emotional, but this emotional state making me feel little stifling. Currently, we are sitting on the kitchen table drinking the tea. Putting my cup down, I take out the box from my pocket and placed it on the table. What is it? My father asked while opening the box. Inside it he found 61 potion bottles inside. There is life water potion, healing potion, mana potion, vitality potion, and in the left corner there is a tiny transparent bottle. Inside it, I left 3 drops of honey. If mom ever needs it, I said. After careful thinking, I placed some potion bottles for my parents' use. If they come across an accident and my father able to make any seals, this potion bottle's more than enough to take care of it. Michael, it too much, you will be. I cut them off with my hand. I will free of worries if you have these potions bottle with you, I said. I even left some artifacts and copy of 9 Raging Strike which I have come across in the space realm, hidden in their room. They will find it after I left. If I had given them now, they would have rejected everything, being it too much. I would have given them my other 3 skills, but they are non-transferable. I have to pay extra to get transfer agreement. With the skill and artifact, my father is capable enough to protect himself and mom for any small dangers. After much arguing, my parents took the box. I had to work hard for getting away from Ashlyn and transfer 3 drops of into tiny bottle. If Ashlyn would have smelled it, she would have definitely demanded it for herself. These few days were very peaceful, except for the first day. There are no more monster attacks. Time passed by and soon came the time of me leaving. The hover car arrived, 3s boarded, and the car sped toward the train station. In the train station, I wouldn't have to wait for long as the train comes in time. Sob sob, I'll miss you, my mother said cryingly as she hugged me one last time before I boarded the train. I waved my parents by through the glass. A small teardrop could be seen on my cheek as waved by to my parents. As the train sped up, I lost the sight of my parents. Wiping my tears, I walked toward my seat. I have one last gift to give, I said and clicked the send button. My father is an LV.1 doctor and lived his profession passionately. He would have gone for higher studies if not for constraints of money. His plan is to make enough contribution through research that the government gave him a grant for higher studies, but it will take years for that. It is very hard for low-level doctors to do any meaningful research from the limited knowledge they have as LV1 doctors, and only exceptional ones could receive a grant. Although my father is very close to receiving a grant, it will still take him a few hours. What I didn't know is paid for his LV2 doctor's course. This costs me near $1 million, but it is nothing compared to my father's happiness. The train will reach the West Blood in the morning. Now I just have to sleep and wake up in the morning. Choo-choo. I was woken by a lively chirp in the morning. There still am before the train reached the westbound station. Choo-choo. Ashlyn chirped again, this time asking me to brush her feathers. My mother spoiled her rotten in the 1 week she had been home. She used to brush Ashlyn feathers twice a day. One time in the morning and another in the evening. Seeing she is not going to stop bothering me until I brushed her, I took out the brush and started to massage her feathers. She contentedly laid on my lap as slowly massaged her feathers with a brush. Meow meow, a fluffy cat monster suddenly appeared in front of me and meowed at me. I got scared at first but quickly noticed that this cat looking at the brush in my hand. Do you want me to brush your coat? I asked while I kept brushing Ashlyn's feather. Meow, it meowed once again in affirmation without missing a beat. I kind of surprised hearing that. I thought this cat monster, just playing around, didn't think it is brave enough to ask any stranger to brush its coat. Choo choo. Ashlyn chirped unhappily as I stopped brushing her feather for a second. I will brush your coat after I did with this annoying birdie, I said. Ashlyn just snorted but that cat monster meowed and sat silently in front of me. I kept brushing Ashlyn's feathers for 15 minutes. Usually, Ashlyn finished within 10 minutes but today she took 15. Your feathers are now cleaned, Ashlyn, I said as picked her from my lap and placed her on cup strand of my chair. Choo choo choo, she chirped furiously saying she is not done with her feather brushed but I knew she is doing it, snide the kitty who's sitting obediently in front of me. Come kitty, I said, and next moment the kitty jumped on my lap. This cat monster is not small but not big either. She has snow-white fluffy coat and beautiful blue eyes. I don't think this kitty is fighting the monster but pet monsters. These monsters don't have much power and aren't bonded but trained for birth to become harmless, household monsters. From what I have seen and heard, having pet monsters are quite common amongst the rich and this kitty is a perfect example for it, seeing how well behaved it is, in front of the complete stranger. One thing I have to say though, this kitty is the most cutest monster I've ever seen, cuter than the lily foxes which known to be most cutest monsters in the Republic. Purr purr. It let out content purrs as I brushed her coat. This cute kitten is female, I've come to know after some inspection. This kitten seems to very well taken care of, her coat very clean and silky and her nails were perfected clipped, it definitely works at the salon. Choo choo. Ashlyn chirped at Kitty saying she had enough time brushing of the coat, she should go back to her owner, but Kitty did not respond it and kept purring contently, especially when I scratched below her neck and stomach. While brushing her fur, I noticed something. This kitty seems to have no aura, she seemed like the lowest of lowest level monster who just born. Sensing this, I become even surer this pet household monster, only pet monsters could not have any power level. So, Millie, this is where are you run off? Enjoying the free massage? I heard a voice behind me. Chapter 193 Millie. Meow, the cat gave lengthy purr but did not leave my lap. When I heard the voice I was surprised, but when I saw the owner of the monster, I got even more surprised. It is a man in his late 20s, he had messy hair and quite a handsome face like a model. Seeing this pet monster, I thought the owner would a young rich young girl, not a handsome man in late 20s. Thank you for taking care of her, she has a habit of running away, he said apologetically. Choo choo. Ashlyn also cut in with her chirp. She had been jealous since I had started brushing the cute kitty. I am Marvin, by the way, he said. Michael, I replied with my name. I would have shaken his hand if not for both my hands occupied by Kitty. Millie, let's go, said Marvin again, this time in a little forceful tone. Meow. Millie meowed and jumped at her owner while jumping her tail brushed past Ashlyn, which made her flew in the air. Choo 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 choo. Ashlyn angrily chirps at Millie as she stabilized herself in midair. I was startled seeing this, that kitty's tail just brushed Ashlyn and she flew into the air. Looks like this kitty more than it looks. The kitten did not give glance Ashlyn chirping at her. Seeing that Ashlyn became angry and about to attack the kitty, I quickly picked her in my hands before that happens. Ashlyn, stop, it was an accident, I said and stopped her from attacking the kitten. I am sorry, it's all Millie's fault, here take it, this will help you calm your anger little one, said Marvin and handed candy which Ashlyn expertly took between her claws. Meow. Millie meowed, seeing her owner gave Ashlyn candy and about to leap at her, but she was stopped by her owner. "Again, thank you. I hope we will meet again, Michael," said Marvin, while Millie angrily looked at Ashlyn, who about to eat candy. This candy must be something else to make. Millie looked at Ashlyn, who was previously too lazy to do that. "Ashlyn gives me some of that ca. Before I fully asked her to give me a little piece of candy, Ashlyn wholly popped in her mouth. "You," I said, picked up golden wrapper of the candy that Ashlyn had thrown away. Carrington Deluxe written in the wrapper. I've never heard this candy brand before. I look angrily at Ashlyn, who is still busy enjoying the candy. I just wanted to hit her hard and remove candy from her mouth and eat it. Calming myself down, I looked at outside scenery, which seems blurred due to trains being so fast. There is still half an hour before the train reached the West Blood station. I checked everything and waited for the train to reach the West Blood. Half an hour passed slowly, but the train reached West Blood station finally, and I got out with Ashlyn. I called the hovercar, and while we riding hovercar to our apartment, I massaged all my friends about my return in West Blood and also ordered lunch for us. I am feeling very hungry, so after I reached my apartment, I won't have to wait for lunch delivery. Many people had replied to my message, but one particularly caught my attention. It was from Jim telling me to meet him at the cafe in the middle ring. It is probably related to the help he mentioned a week ago. I quickly freshened up and took a bath before eating already arrived lunch with the Ashlyn. I finally felt good as I placed the cutlery down in the food box, relaxing laying on the floor. I don't know why, but I felt hungry as I smelled the candy that Ashlyn ate and only felt good after eating the lunch at my heart content. I did not wish to train right now as I am feeling very tired mentally. I just want to lay on the bed till I feel good again. I did just that. I lay on the bed, thinking nothing and everything. I don't when I closed my eyes and woke up at late afternoon feeling quite fresh. Ashlyn is also sleeping, but I did not wake as I went to the bathroom and washed my face with water to get out of sleepy feeling. Seeing there is still enough time before I had to go and meet with him, I decided to read the news. There was nothing interesting at first, but soon a new article popped in. The western city of Replica had been attacked by the big monster horde. It is written that half of the city is destroyed. I couldn't help but shudder as I saw the photos. The only good thing that casualties are not great. They were already prepared for horde with reinforcement from the other cities. Still, such destruction of the cities is still a rarity in the Republic. Normally bug cities always in vigil, have their scouts placed in various areas of the forest. Slightest moment from the monsters will alert the city and make them prepare for incoming horde. Seeing such destruction could only mean that there is a surprise element in the battle. As I read the article further, I've come to know that there is a surprise element in the battle. The leader of the horde had leveled up at the last moment, and many people have to come together to kill it, and by the time they finished killing the leader of the horde, half the city had been already destroyed by other monsters. It's good thing that all the civilians were hiding in the bunker hours before horde entered the city, and there is no casualty of their part. West Blood City also attacked by monster horde 2-3 times a year but always gets thwarted. It has been more than 50 years since the wall of West Blood City breached by the monster horde. West Blood City is one most secure cities in the Republic despite situated in the boundary of the most dangerous forest in the continent. Chapter 194 Training Center, Adventurer's Paradise. I passed the time on my HoloWatch, reading news and browsing on social media. It is already evening by the time I closed all the windows on my HoloWatch, and I have to leave soon to meet him in the cafe in the middle ring. It's good thing that Ashlyn had woken. I will not have to waste time in waking her up. I freshened up again and changed into new clothes before going out of my apartment. It took less than an hour for me to reach the cafe. Jim had not come. When I called him, he said he will arrive at half an hour, which is within his mentioned time. I ordered some snacks and coffee to pass the time before he arrived. Choo-choo. Ashlyn chipped happily as she ate the croissant with pleasing expression. Although the cafe is a little expensive, the food is worth it. Tingle, a soft tingle of a bell sounded when I looked up. It is Jim came inside the cafe. He looks tired, his eyes are red and hair are a little messy. He seemed like he hadn't gotten any sleep few days. Jim, what happened to you? I asked worriedly. Oh, it's nothing. The herbs you just gave were rare and I could help and make potions out of them. I've been experimenting and making potions this whole week, he replied with a small smile. Have you got some sleep this week? I asked. He really looked like he hadn't slept for the whole week. Of course I've slept enough, it's just that I've been in lab 16 hours every day, that's why I look like this. It feels good to be outside again, he said and ordered something for himself. I felt good hearing that. I wouldn't have felt good if he left his lab just to meet me. We talked casually for while as eat a snack before coming into the main topic. So you must be looking for a good training center and apartment, now that you have money, he said. Yes, I want systematic training for at least 6 months and also an apartment which is in the or near the training center would be fine, I said. No problem, my friend is in real estate, he will help find best training center in your budget and discount, like last time. He said called his friend. Last time was also Jim's friend who helped me find the apartment and I have to pay less than others. Jim friend received a call and Jim asked me to help me find the best training center and apartment within my budget. He turned to me and asked me about my requirements and budget. After hearing my requirement, he sends many proposals on the HoloWatch to choose from. I was a little hesitant about choosing the training center, just watching on the HoloWatch, but Jim asked me to trust his friend. I had already read and done research about many training centers, so it took me a minute to choose the training center. And now was the time to choose which package I am going to choose for training. In this matter, I did the extensive research for the whole week. I was in my hometown. I was surprised seeing the rates of the training packages. They are lower than the one mentioned in their official site. Seeing this, huge smile blossomed in my face. These lower rates means I have to pay least $1 million least for whatever training package I was going to choose. It mattered a lot. I now can choose the better training package I was going to choose previously. It took me nearly an hour to choose the perfect training package. By the time I finished with all signing and paying, my account had become a lot lighter than it used to be, but I felt a lot much better. This package includes 6 months of specialized training and lodging in the training center. It will be a lot easier for me to stay in the training center than to rent an apartment near it. This all good, but it cost me $18 million. I have ended double than what I imagined a week ago, but it's definitely worth it. I will have to spend 4 days a week in training while 3 days will leave me for rest, reflection and other things. Now that everything is done, I should leave. I still have many options to make, said Jim. Thank you, I said as he just gave me smile and said, when you come across more rare herbs, sell them only to me, he said. Definitely, I replied. These herbs must be something for him to mention them twice. From what I've guessed, his parents are one of the top powerhouses in the city or even a republic. Acquiring rare herbs is nothing to him, especially when his organization being an alchemist organization. Those herbs Ashlyn picked must have special qualities in them, otherwise those barely 100 herbs wouldn't have sold for $12 million. I had asked Ashlyn many times how she selected herbs, but she just said that they smelled nice. Smelled nice? That is her answer. I left the cafe a few minutes after Jim left and called a hovercar to go to another destination. One important thing is done, now I have to do another thing. Sign up and became a member of Adventurers Paradise. I knew it was a great organization and was going to sign up eventually at specialist grade, but after what Jill and William had told me, I couldn't wait to become a member. To become a member of Adventurers Paradise, one has to be at the specialist stage. Anyone can become a member of it as long as one is at the stage. Normally low-level evolvers sign up for Adventurers Paradise because it will help them sell them things easily. They have a vast database. No matter what you bring, no matter how unknown it is, the Adventurers Paradise will have a record of it, and if that thing is requested by someone, you can sell it then and there. It also has a store which sells many things with a little cheaper rate than outside, but to buy it, you have to have both money and Paradise points. Paradise points are what you get after completing mission or task or job in the Adventurers Paradise, but there is a catch. It is very hard to earn large points who are below sergeant stage. What Jill and Michael told me that as long as I become LV3 member of Adventurers Paradise, I will be able to buy a low-level night grade skill and artifact. They even said that their organizations encouraged them to become a member of Adventurers Paradise, as Adventurers Paradise have some night-grade skills that even their organizations didn't have. This information shocked me, it not commonly known among low-level evolvers but at high-level new high-level mid-high-level level adventurers. Soon I saw the glittering building from my hovercar, and a few minutes later my hovercar stopped in front of the Adventurers Paradise building. Chapter 195 Windslayer Style. The building of Adventurers Paradise in the shape of tall spiral tower, it is one of the tallest building in the Westblood. Thousands of people could be seen coming and going inside it, but it did not feel crowded least a bit. I walk into a tall building and met with hundreds of circular screen that were projection tasks. There are thousands of types of weird jobs had been projected, from the simple task as collecting a herb to become one's sparring partner for the day. There is even request of reinforcement from another city, mentioning that they need reinforcement for monster horde that will attack their city in 2 days. There are endless jobs and below jobs, there are monetary reward and paradise points they will get completing also written. After reading some requests I walk toward the registration section. There is no human in the registration section, all machines. Many people around my age could be seen standing in front of palm-sized machine and that machine releasing green light on their body. I also stood in front of a small machine and scanned my holowatch into it, soon it released the green light which started scanning my body. I didn't feel anything as green light passed over my body, the green light felt like any other light. Registration confirmed. Welcome to Adventure Paradise. Name, Michael Czar. Power, mid-level of specialist stage. Adventure Paradise ID, GXPH 2638463. Said machine out loud and I've received the electronic ID of the Adventurers Paradise. Seeing the registration is over, I walk out of Adventurers Paradise building and called a cab toward my apartment building. I will not have time to come to the Adventurers Paradise building at least 5 days. Tomorrow I have to move and get familiar with my new apartment, while the days after that would be my training. Choo-choo. I woke up by the Ashland chirp. Last night I slept right after eating dinner to wake up early for today. I ordered the breakfast before going to freshen up and bath. By the time I've returned the breakfast already had arrived. After I finished eating, I started to pack. I do not have much stuff, except for my clothes. I have a few other things I count mine. I put most of my stuff into my storage till it full, while remaining ones went into my backpack. I took a long look at the apartment which I stayed for 3 months. I don't have many friends here, so there is no question of meeting them before leaving. The only friend I had in the building is Ria, but she moved away to the middle ring, right after we came out of the space realm. I've received her message 3 days ago, she is also in the middle ring and going through the specialized training. It took me 15 minutes to reach my training center in middle ring from my former apartment in the outer ring. From today I am the official residence of the middle ring, and it comes with many perks such as faster hover cars. From now on, I can order faster hover cars, though I have to pay more for faster hover cars. It's worth it having your journey's time cut in 1/3. The training center I've chosen is called We're Training Center. It can be said to reach the middle rank standard of the training center. I was quite lucky. I thought I will have to do my specialized training in low-level training center like Anderson Training Center, but because of the discount I've given by Jim's friend, I will be able to train in middle rank training center. The ranks to the training center given by the government on the quality of training it provides. The higher the rank is, the higher the quality services you will get, such as combat styles. The combat styles in the middle rank training centers would more advance in the middle rank training center. The other services like hydro training, gravity training also will have better quality. Soon my hover car reached We're Training Center. This training center is completely different from Anderson Training Center. I've been before. I've seen photos of it, but there is the difference seeing something in photos and seeing something with your own eyes. I have a big square-shaped gray building which uses power. Only one looked at it and one will know that this building means business. As I enter inside it, I felt like I've entered a completely different building. Although it still oozes power but much on the softer side. The tens of tall projection could be seen on the lobby, informing various services offered by the training center. I read them for a few seconds before moving toward the elevator which leads toward the residential area. Sup, the elevator's door opened and get out of it, my apartment on the 62nd floor of the building. I walked toward the long hallway, many people could be seen coming and going out of their apartment. Ting ting ting, soon I stood in front of my apartment and opened it. Just as I was entering inside, I received a flurry of emails and all of them from the training center. 3 of them welcoming in the training while others are a training center while 2 of them are training related. One is full details and specialized my specialized training while the other one is informing is that I still had chosen the combat style. If I had already learned any other combat style then I can skip it and I hadn't then should choose early as possible as every combat style has a limited number of seats. They even sent me a number of combat styles they offered and their detailed description. I didn't hurry in choosing combat style and first took a look at my apartment. It is a studio apartment like my previous one but little bigger. It had little more free space. The apartment is designed immaculately and has all the things one will need. Choo-choo. Ashlyn flew off my shoulder and asked me to open the glass door balcony which is closed. She loved to bask in the sun in the gallery, especially when the day is sunny like today. I opened the balcony door for her and started taking out stuff from my storage and backpack before putting them into their respective places. After checking my apartment carefully and putting away my stuff, did I lay on the bed comfortable and downloaded the folder which contains the details of combat style that offered by the training center. There are 26 combat style offered by the training center and each folder containing their detailed descriptions and videos. As I started to read them, I felt that all of them at the same level at Nightblade combat style, I was leaning previously. As I keep reading it further, I found 2 which suits me and to my utter surprise, I found Nightblade style on the list. I was going to immediately choose as but I divided read all the combat style further before making my final decision. When I moved the 24th folder, I saw its color is different than another folder and had Elite written it. Not only 24th, 25th, and 26th folder also has Elite written in it. My curiosity flared and opened it quickly. Stable Mountain Style, a little weird name but I started to read it and got startled by the first line written on it. It is said to learn it, one has to have at least 3 seals of supreme combat exercise otherwise one's body will not able to bear the pressure of combat exercise. I've heard about such combat style from the Jill and Jim as both of them are learning these type of combat style but I never guessed it that this middle level training center will have such combat style. As I read further, I became disappointed, seeing it suited for those whose fighting style balance between attacking and defending like Aria, not for someone like me who prefers attacking with speed and agility. I have put my hopes on the other 2 folders, I thought and opened the 25th folder. Raging Tornado Style, another weird name which has the same requirement of 3 seals as an earlier combat style. This one disappointed me as well. It is the pure attacking type fighting style does not suit me at all. I opened the last folder, hoping this one will suit me, otherwise, I have to go with my old Nightblade style despite not being the elite one. Wind Slayer Style, this is the, quite a good name sound quite fierce. Surprise sound came out of my mouth reading its requirement. It requires 5 seals of supreme combat exercise to learn it, 5 seals. This quite a big deal, usually free adventurers below sergeant stage only able to create 3 seals. Those who could create 5 seals are considered quite good, as free adventurers don't have access to potions and machines which reduce the pain. They have to create the seals old-fashioned way and this combat style required one to have 5 seals much be amazing. As I read its description, a smile started to bloom on my face, the further I read, the bigger my smile had become. After watching the videos of this style, I become even sure, this is a perfect style for me. I quickly opened the training center site and signed up for it before all the seats got taken. I couldn't wait for my training to start, I think as I closed my eyes to rest. Chapter 196 Specialized Training I. The day slowly passed. After I had taken little rest, I took a small tour of the training center to get familiarize myself with it. I got a little starstruck seeing how many facilities it offered, some of them I've never heard of. I will try them if I have time later. In my package I have full access to 4 training facilities and if I have to use others, I will have to pay extra. The whole day passed and evening came, it is time for dinner. There is 2 options to eat here, I could either eat in my room or eat it in the mess. For today, I decided to eat in my room. It will eat in the mess from tomorrow. The night passed in the dreamless state, and when I woke up in the morning, I felt quite refreshed. I quickly ordered the meal before going to freshen up. My schedule is jam-packed. Once I leave, I won't be back till the evening. My specialized training includes 5 classes. 1. Combat style class. 2. Gravity training class. 3. Hydro training class. 4. Reflex training class. 5. Combat class. These whole classes will take 13 hours of my day. I have to attend these classes 4 days a week while the other 3 days free. I can do whatever I want. By the time I finished eating and changed into the practice suit, only 20 minutes are remaining to my class. Here, I said, and placed a mini tag on Ashlyn's neck. She did not resist as she knew what it is for. I booked the special monster training room for Ashlyn. It is specially designed for flying monsters. Yesterday when we were roaming the training center, we came across it. I and Ashlyn loved it after taking a small tour of it. I am going to train all day till evening, and I don't want to keep her cooped up inside me. She had trained a little when we were in my hometown, but without guidance, she can't do much, no matter how smart she is. The monster training facility is specially designed for the monster. In that facility, they can develop their strength freely, through the various methods offered by the training facility. Choo-choo. Ashlyn flew from the shoulder as we reached the monster training facility. The force field didn't stop her seeing the tag on her neck. I can see many bird monsters are training there, and Ashlyn quickly joined them in. I have to walk for a few minutes before reaching the area where I am going to learn the combat style. There are still more than 10 minutes before the class, but 40-something people were already waiting there. All of them looked me as I entered, and some of them had startled color on their faces. I can understand why is that. All of them were at corporal stage except for one specialist stage girl. Including her, we are only 2 specialist stage evolvers signed up for this combat style class, while all other are at corporal stage. There are still 10 minutes are remaining for the class to start, but I don't think there will be more than 5 people from the specialist stage. It is very hard to create the seals, and further you go, the more painful it became. The time passed and more people come. Most of them are at corporal level, and there is only one boy, who specialist stages me. Sup, the glass door of the training hall opened and all of us went inside. This time my combat style instructor is lady. She seemed to be in her late 30s and her face is little pretty, but most importantly the aura she is excluding is definitely at the lieutenant stage. I was little started seeing lieutenant stage instructor. Not only my others are also startled. For powerhouse like lieutenant, stage revolver had no need to teach. Killing simple lieutenant grade monster can earn her million credits. Must be some other reason for her to teach. I have to say one thing before starting the class, said the instructor in her soft voice. This class going very strenuous. It will stretch you to your limit, especially those who have only 5 seals. Persistence is necessary. If you are able to persist for 2 months, not only you will successfully learn the Wind Slayer style, you might able to create 1 or 2 seals extra, she said. Hearing they will able to create a seal if they persist for 2 months made a lot of people energized and eager to learn, but they failed to notice underlined meaning of instructor words. She said those persist for 2 months will able to learn this combat style fully, but there is another meaning hidden in her words that a lot of people won't able to persist. I also became energized hearing this, but completely different reason. I took the instructor's words as a personal challenge. I took challenge upon myself that I will persist 2 months in this combat style class and learn this combat style fully in 6 months. Follow the projection, perform as it does, said instructor, and big projection of women appeared in the hall. Everyone can see it without obstruction and start to perform every move that projection is performing, while our instructor softly guided those who made a mistake in their posture. She is completely different from the instructor I had for Nightblade style, who used to use curses and kicks to correct student, while this instructor is using her soft voice and stick to correct who had performed wrong. It felt like a normal exercise first 15 minutes, but soon I felt like my body is becoming heavy. The simple movement which used to take no efforts is beginning to take efforts. As the more time passed, I felt like my body becomes that of mud, each movement of my body feeling very strenuous. The more movements I make, the strenuous they become, but I still kept following it. It's been only 45 minutes since I started following the weird movement of projection. I didn't make mistakes as others, as I have a habit of doing these weird exercises from Nightblade style. As the more time passed, moving my limbs became more difficult. Now I understand why this combat style needs 5 seals at least. Without the enhancement of strong body that 5 seals of exercise gave, it is nearly impossible to perform their exercise for more than 45 minutes. One will be zapped out of all the energy he has and his body will start to collapse due to extreme pressure. Thud, the first boy collapsed at 1 hour and 25 minutes. It is not a specialist stage but corporal stage revolver. This combat style has a minimum requirement of 5 seals, but that is all. The power of 5 seals can help one till 75 minutes after that. It's all depend on one's willpower. Just like the instructor said, only those can persist for 2 months will able to learn this combat style, while those who don't will have to quit this class. Another 10 minutes passed and 2 more people collapsed. Both of them were at corporal level. As time passed, moving a single limb becoming difficult for me, and when I thought it will difficult for me to persist anymore, I started to circulate the supreme combat exercise. Just as I started it, I started feeling pain but also refreshing energy, which gave me the power to keep persisting. I didn't circulate the supreme combat exercise at the beginning. I wanted to see how long can I persist without circulating it. It turned out to be 1 hour and 46 minutes. While circulating the exercise, I kept trying to advance the circulation. Currently, I am stuck at the 10th move. Advancing to the 11th move felt like more and more painful. I had already created 5 seals, and if I was able to circulate all 24 moves again, I will able to create the 6th seal. By the time 2 hours are over, more than 10 people had already collapsed. I am not in a much better condition either. The circulation of supreme combat exercise is not enough. The only that kept going is half an hour. This is 2.5 hour class. I kept saying in my mind that I just have to persist for half an hour. As long as I persist for half an hour, I've completed the today's challenge. Nearly 25 of 60 people already fell. I think only half the people will last till the class end. As the minutes passed, making the single movement of my body had become difficult, but I kept persisting while counting every second till the class is over. Not only that, but kept circulating the supreme combat exercise more and more ferociously. I hope to circulate at least 11th move before this class end, and I am trying with all my heart. The last 10 minutes. I said in my mind, I didn't know how I am able to persist till now, but I am definitely not going to collapse, seeing I have to persist for only 10 minutes. Every second feels like minute and minutes felt like hours as I kept performing the moves that performed by the projected figure in front of me without making any mistake. Hew. I make sound by taking a forceful breath as I am able to circulate 11th move. The pain is immense, but in front satisfaction it is nothing. Alright, stop, all of you did well, sounded on the hall, and I collapsed on the floor below me. Chapter 197 Specialized Training 2. I collapsed on the floor like the rest of the people, who were able to persist until the end of the class. I did not have any feeling in my body for 5 minutes after collapse. Only after 5 minutes did I able to twitch my fingers and move my limbs. 10 minutes later did I able to get up and felt like a normal person. All the energy I had lost performing the exercise seemed to return in my body. It is a good thing that I wore a practice suit which sucked all my sweat, but my face and hair are still a little wet due to the sweat. Seeing there are only 15 minutes remaining to the gravity training class, I hastily walked toward it. I hope the gravity class would be not exerting as this, but that just a fool's dream. I reached the hall of gravity when there were only 5 minutes are remaining. I spotted some people who are in my combat style class were also waiting by the door. Soon the door of the gravity chamber opened and we come across large hall. There is no decoration whatsoever in the hall, just a young man in mid-20s who seemed to be at master stage. His body is quite buffed. His bulging muscles could be seen through the tight t-shirt he is wearing. I am Adam Neeson and I will be your instructor in the gravity class, he said. Form the lines, keep enough space between yourself that you will not obstruct others by your movements. We will do a simple exercise that we have learned in the school while gravity keeps increasing till you feel the 100 kg weight in every cell of your body, he said. Oh, and the whole 100 kilograms will activate in half an hour, he said and tapped something on his holowatch. Suddenly I can feel, the gravity is increasing and it's affecting every cell of my body. Start, he shouted and started performing squats while we all followed behind. There is no need to give direction about these exercises as everyone had performed them at their school. As minutes passed, I feel like I've become tens of kilo heavy. First, I didn't feel much about increasing gravity despite feeling kgs of weight on my body, but after 10 minutes are over, I felt the real weight and it's still increasing. The increasing gravity making me use more and more energy to perform movements of my body. The weight I am feeling is not on the single part but every single cell of my body. As time passed, the pressure and gravity increased more, and by the time half an hour is over, I could feel 100 kg on every part of my body. Everybody is taking heavy breaths bearing the force of 100 on every part of their body. The only mercy in this training class that after half an hour, the gravity will not increases, but the bad thing is that we have to perform exercises for 1.5 hours in this gravity. 15 minutes later when I started to feel very tired and started circulating supreme combat exercise for the energy. Thud, one girl collapsed on the floor doing a push-up, and it was again corporal stage evolver, not specialist stage. She was so stuck on the floor due to gravity that looked like someone had pasted her on the floor with glue. Despite her whimpering, the instructor did not help him. She had to crawl slowly to the outskirts of the hall to get out of range of gravity field. These specialized training not only help one to refine one's power but also forge one's will, which in my opinion is way more important than the refining one's power. The people who collapsed, it's not like they are less powerful, they just aren't able to persist. I am definitely sure that if I fought against any corporal level without my skills, then I will definitely lose, I will lose very badly. Not only I but the other 2 specialist grade will also lose as long as they have not created 8 seals. The difference in power between the socialist stage and the corporal stage is great, especially when comparing to fellow humans, who both have similar skills. It's very different compared to fighting monsters, who are very dumb. Humans are intelligence creature, and beating that above stage who have a similar skill as you is very difficult. Especially here where everybody had at least created 5 seals of supreme combat exercise. Only chance to beat who is level above you and has the same skill as you, is to have something special. This what I've read somewhere years before but didn't understand the meaning of it till now. Thud thud thud. More and more people kept collapsing on the ground, some even had broken and dislocated their bones, but instructor still did not help them, they have to crawl themselves to the boundary of the gravity field. I kept circulating the 11th move of the exercise while trying to advance to 12th as I kept performing push-up, squats and others exercised without collapsing. It is very hard but I kept persisting, no matter how much pressure I felt, I kept persisting. Whenever I feel like I was going to collapse, I picture the first battle of super elites I saw in the space realm, where Rachel and Max fought against the gigantified sawtooth earthworm monsters. I didn't want that happen, but gaining the power of super elite had become the goal of mine. I wanted to reach their height and then surpass it. Whenever I think about this goal of mine, my blood started to boil and all the fatigue and weakness go away. With this goal in mind, I kept persisting, and when I felt the hope of that goal started to dwindle down, I used the fury of my biggest nightmare, that always boils my blood to the extreme. I persist and persist, I use every method at my disposal. That is why, when only 10 minutes are remaining for the class to be over and half of the people had collapsed, I still kept going. Like last time, seeing it as only 10 minutes are remaining, I kept performing even when I feel extreme weakness taking over my body. Suddenly the gravity field deactivated and I barely stopped myself from falling on the ground. That is for today. Tomorrow we will increase the pace of exercises a little, be prepared for that, said our instructor and sat on the lone chair which is by the wall. I wanted to sit so bad on the floor and take time rest, but I can't. I have hydro training class in 15 minutes and from what I've read it is not as taxing as 2 classes. And I was right. When I reached the hydro training hall with other people, what I saw is a gigantic pool. Here, wear these air masks, said the instructor, who looked to be in the mid-30s, whose level I can't able to sense properly. Enter the pool and survive against the various water's jets and current for an hour. He said curtly. He seemed a fan of not many words. One more thing, you are not allowed to use any skill and are not allowed to come out of waster as long any current or jet didn't throw you out. He said loudly. I quickly wore the water mask and activated with my mana as I jumped into the water with the rest. Chapter 198 Specialized Training 3. Blub. I jumped into the pool as the instructor said with the rest of the people. The pool seemed to be about 10 meters deep and water is crystal clear with room temperature. I swam downward till I reached the 6-meter deep. It is the perfect spot to dodge against any water jet attack comes in my way. Boom. I felt a loud water boom in the water, and next moment I saw a ball of concentrated water flying above me, but I didn't get a chance to relax as I heard another 2 loud booms and one is coming toward me. I quickly swam away before it could hit me, but its speed was so fast that the water current surrounding it grazed my shoulder. I did not receive any injury but felt sharp pain. I have to be very careful, not to let these jets of compressed water hit me or I will be in serious pain. The time passed, more and more water jets attack come, some even hit people, so far I am lucky. It is a good thing, I chose my location near the center of the pool. I can see any water jet attack coming toward me. Boom, a water jet attack that comes from the base of the pool, hit one girl squarely, sending her out of the pool. When I expected her to fall back into the pool, that did not happen. So, this is what the instructor meant by disqualified. In the pool, you can hit by as many water jets you can, but you can't hit by those, which came from the ground. If they hit successfully, they might send you out of the pool and you will be disqualified. Bam, suddenly water jet hit my back when I busy thinking implication being hit by. The only good thing that this water jet attack came from left and not from the ground, but it still hurts very dearly though. These water jets designed this way, that they will not cause any injury if get hit, except for some soaring. I will not receive any other injury, but it will sure hurt like hell, like it is hurting right now. As time passed, I got hit by more and more water jets till now. The only good thing that I had saved myself from crashing out of water. To survive against the water jets, I have to make use of every part of my body. In the water, making instant movements is many times harder than on the surface, but it is also the water that let me the projectile clearly that is coming toward me. This training may not seem much but is as clearly as important as the other two. This exercise helps gains better control over the body actions, and that is very very helpful in the final battle. As more time passed, both the quantity and speed of attacks increased. It became a little harder to avoid all the projectile that is coming toward me. I dodge them with my all while giving priority to those which are coming from the ground. Gurgle. Suddenly the attack of water jets stopped and waster started to shake loudly, creating many waves both above and below. First, the shaking was small but soon its frequency increased. The waves inside the water grew bigger than I am having difficulty maintaining my position. I am still doing fine, but those few who were very close to the surface were directly swept by the wave. They definitely got disqualified as their bodies got out the water. I started to dive deep despite facing the resistance. These waves are produced this way, that they will try to sweep everyone to the surface. As I am trying to dive deep, the waves had been trying to take me to the surface and their force is increasing. I started to circulate moved of exercise for more power, seeing I won't be able to resist even for a second. I just have to survive for 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, everything will be over. Fuck, I was just thinking about the surviving 10 minutes when I saw a big wave coming toward me from the down. I circulated exercise more ferociously and tried to move out of the wave's way. I can tell, once that wave touched my body, it will definitely take me to the surface, making me disqualified. I tried to get off of its range using my all, but I know it will difficult seeing its speed. The only way I can increase my speed is use the skill, but that is prohibited. Bam! That waves clashes against me and swept me with it. I wanted to get out of it, but I am incapable to resist against this force. Dub. I reached the surface before I knew it, and next moment something enveloped me and brought out of water. It is air cover. I said in my mind, the cover of air covering my body and taking me toward the ground. A few seconds later, I gently landed on the ground. "Thank you, instructor," I said. He just nodded and didn't reply. I removed the air mask off my face and sat on the floor watching many people getting out of the water every minute. By the time the hour was over, only 19 people had been remain in the water. This training class, which seemed easiest, is the one which eliminated most people than the other two classes. Seeing there are only 15 minutes before another class starts, I got up and walked toward it. Next class is reflex training class. Like its name suggests, it is used to train reflexes. Yesterday, I didn't get time to research on this class, so I am a little excited. When the 15 minutes over, we come across another large hall. It is one biggest indoor hall I've ever seen. The hall is very big and it has more than 50 white circles had drawn on it. These white circles are about 2 meters in diameter and there is space of 5 meters between each circle. The instructor seems very young, around 22, 23-year-old. She is very pretty, so pretty every boy keeps looking at her without pause. Cough cough, she had to make loud coughing noise to wake up boys who were rudely looking at her face. Please select the weapon that suits you and wears the eye bands on your eyes before waking to the center of the white circles. You will be attacked by many objects while your eyes are closed. You will have to fend them, she said. This exercise will help you train your senses and reflexes. Those who get out of the circle, take off eye band or use skills, will be disqualified. I wish you the best of luck. I hope this exercise will help you immensely, she said. Her voice is like a robot, without any expression on her face. She is probably doing it on purpose so the boy could approach her. She is an only year or two younger than the boys of my class. So, obviously, she going to be approached by many boys. This is why she is doing it, save herself from harassment. I can guess it clearly because I've seen Ellen make a similar face to save herself from constant harassment for the boy, who didn't know she didn't have any interest in boys. Chapter 199 Specialized Training 4. I quickly chose the sword from the shelf which is behind her and took eye band from her, before walking toward the empty white circle. I stood in the center of the wall circle and wore eye band. It feels quite uncomfortable wearing eye band. It has become dark, I can't see anything, everything had become dark in front of me. I now only had a sense of hearing and sense of touch. The voices started to quiet down one by one. The training will start soon, I thought in my mind. I gripped my sword tightly and relaxed my taut muscles, ready for anything that comes to my way. Buzz, the buzz suddenly rang out in the hall. The training started finally, I said in my mind. Dud. Fuck. Shit. I heard various noises. The next second the buzz rang out. The projectiles seem attacking people, and from the cursing sound I am hearing, I think they are hurting a lot. Just as I thought that, I felt like something is coming toward me and I swung my sword at that direction. Bam. Fuck. My sword had hit nothing, but next moment, something hit my cheek sharply. I did not receive any injuries as whatever hit me was made of soft material, but the stinging pain I felt on my cheek is sharp. It was like a hard slap. I just wanted to remove my blindfold and see what hit me, but I stopped myself. Removing the eye band will make me disqualified in class. Taking a deep breath, I calmed myself and readies myself to face against whatever projectile that is coming toward me, but all that was nothing. I could sense that projectile coming toward me. I tried to dodge or hit them with my sword, they would always crash against my body. Pah! I hit the projectile with the blade of my sword. I expect to miss this one also, but luckily, I was able to hit it and saved myself from some pain. It was the lucky shot. I did not hit it with my ability, only with luck. I want to hit shot with my own ability, not by some random luck. I want to predict the path of the projectile and hit or dodge it with my own ability. I can dare to imagine how much my power will increase when I will be able to respond to any incoming attack, even with my eye closed. It will be amazing, but it will be very hard to reach that stage. For me, this reflex training is the hardest one. In the other three, I have a clear direction on what to do. I had a path laid out in front of, I just had to follow it with persistence, but this training, all is blurry. I will have to find my own path, and I think the training of the other three classes will help immensely. As time passed by, I got hit by hundreds of projectiles, not only me, others also, that I kept hearing many curses. I got also lucky many times and was able to thwart the projectile, but that did not give me any joy. I started to use my scenes at their maximum and I made little progress, but I was never able to currently predict and hit it. Progress will not be made in 1 or 2 classes, it will take some time, and I am confident that this training will help me better utilize my senses. This class is 2 hours long, and because my eyes are blindfolded, I can't see what time it is, but I am sure the class is reaching its end. I'll just have to experience some more beating of this projectile before the class is over. Buzz, suddenly a buzz sounded, and just as I hear it, I tore out off my eyes. These 2 hours were really something. I felt really good, seeing colors again. Please put back the practice weapons and bands where you took them, said the pretty instructor with a robot-like voice. I put back band and practice sword back where I have taken them from and walk out hall feeling tired. It's been 9 hours since the start of first class and I still have 1 other class left. It is combat training class, and from what I am hearing from people around me, in this class we will have to fight each other. I massaged my temple just thinking about the beating I will receive. I just shudder thinking that. I really don't want to be beaten by the corporal stage evolver. I don't think there will be more than 6 specialist grade evolvers while the rest are at corporal grade. There is a clear difference of 1 stage. This gap could not be filled by 2 or 3 seals of supreme combat exercise. If we were to use the skill, there is a chance of beating those above our level, but I don't think, in this training, we can use our skill. On one hand, this will be some sort of hellish experiment for those at specialist stage, but on the other, this class will also where specialist stage will learn more. Fighting corporal level, I will get a clear look at their ability and experience it firsthand. It will very helpful experience if I come across any corporal level evolver outside. There is another that is most important. This combat training class will put immense pressure on a specialist grade and will be the best training to advance our ability in the short term. Soon we entered the combat hall, this quite small hall compared to others. This hall just had 1 medium-size fighting ring, which little bigger than the fighting rings that used to be in training facility of my old apartment building. The instructor seemed to be in his 40s with a chubby build and jovial face. He looked like a comedian on TV rather than the instructor of the combat training class. Chapter 200 Specialized Training V. Choose your weapons, he said, waving his hands toward the shelves where weapons are kept. We don't want you to get hurt too much to get sued, he joked in his jovial tone. My heart thumped, but I also took a sigh of relief seeing we are going to practice with real grade 1 artifact. If we had sparred using practice weapons, without using protection artifact, there still would have been many injuries, even without using skill, especially to specialist grade. But now we are using real weapons and also using protection artifacts like armor, shield, masks. There would be injuries, but this will be very light, as long as one doesn't use skill. Even if there is a difference of level, one would only feel a painful sting even if one used his full power as attacks without skill once able to penetrate the defense of the protection artifacts. I quickly covered myself with artifacts and stood beside the ring with rest. Alright, now everyone had covered themselves well, it is time for a real fight. You only have 10 minutes, you have to defeat your opponent as soon as possible, he said, but suddenly his jovial face turned serious. And remember, don't activate your skill and use your abilities in heat of the moment, you will regret it right after that, he said in extremely serious voice before his face turned jovial again. Is he psycho? I thought to myself, seeing his quick change in tone and expression. Now is the fighting time, you get into the ring, said the instructor pointing toward 2 mid-level corporal stage evolvers. Fight, said instructor, and both mid-level corporal stage evolvers started to fight in the ring. One is using a sword while another is using a saber. As the fight started, the saber user took the initiative and launched the flurry of strikes against the saber user. The sword user is not weak either, he started to counter each and every strike of the saber user. The fight will look dry at normal looks as there is no colorful skill and abilities flying around, but after taking closer look one will see the real fight. This fight may not be eye-catching as another fight I've seen, but it is a lot more helpful. One can see the true limit of one's combat in this type of fight as our mind is not obstructed by skills and abilities. Although skill and abilities are more important than actual combat, but without the help of actual, one will not survive for long in the fight with only help from ability and skill. It is necessary for every evolver to fuse and synchronize one ability and skills with the actual combat. Few minutes passed as combat in front of me going on and superiority of saber user is clearly shown. Although both of the users didn't seem to know any actual combat style, but saber user seemed to have more fighting experience. His every strike is precise and forceful, not giving any chance of retaliation to his opponent. Beads of sweat could be seen on the sword user. He is having difficulty dealing with saber user as he was already been hit by his opponent many times. Bam! Finally he used his saber squarely and hit the chest of the sword, which directly took him out of him. The fight had lasted for less than 5 minutes. The sword user could able to fight the half the given time. You are good, very good. You used your saber precise and forceful. You just now had to work on speed of your strikes. It will make you faster and even more powerful, advised the instructor. Thank you for advice, instructor, said the saber user grateful. The instructor then turned to the lost sword user, who was hanging his face in shame. And you would have easily able to win against him if not for not taking initiative to attack. You already have speed, you now just have to gain more fighting experience and work on your offense initiative, instructor advised the sword user. He was even more grateful than the sword user receiving advice from the instructor. Normally the people who come for specialized training in a training center like this are normal adventurers. They had to earn money by themselves from monster hunting to get specialized training. These tips may simple words, but they are very useful as normal adventurers barely have anyone to guide them, and receiving advice on strength and weakness is very important. You, get into the ring, the instructor called another 2 people in the ring to fight. This time it was girl and boy. The girl is at the mid-level corporal stage while the boy is at a peak level of the corporal stage. Both of them started to fight after the instructor said. Seeing their difference in the level, I thought the girl would be a disadvantage, but I got surprised seeing she is not about a disadvantage against the boy, who is 1 level above her. She is equal to him in fighting the power. He many times tried to get the upper hand but countered by her quite effectively. One thing I noticed about this girl is her footwork. Her footwork is really amazing. That amazing is footwork is one of the main reasons she is able to fight against him equally. Time's over, said instructor and stopped the fight seeing 10 minutes are over. After that, he elected 2 more people to fight before giving advice to the previous 2 who fought. Times passed on as more and more people fought, but all of them were corporal level evolvers. Only after 2 hours did he elected specialist stage to fight. I was a little surprised. I thought he would make specialist grade evolvers fight each other, seeing there only 3 corporal level evolvers are here, but he made peak level of specialist stage evolver fight initial level corporal stage evolver.